Yeah, over there on that table. Good evening, everybody. We are about to get started here, so if we can find our seats, we will get started with the induction ceremony. It sounds like we had a great time so far, so that's great. Thank you, everybody, for being patient with us. COVID protocols put us in a position where we had to change how we typically serve this meal, so we appreciate all of your patience as we got through dinner tonight. But we're ready to get started and move on with this ceremony. I'd like to take a moment and thank and recognize the Hall of Fame committee that selected tonight's induction class. The strong, rich tradition of athletic success at Albion College makes the job of narrowing so many deserving individuals and teams to a select few a difficult one. I appreciate the committee's dedication to Albion athletics and to ensuring that we have fantastic induction classes entering the Hall of Fame each year. Will the committee members please stand when your name is read? Lance Coleman, it's an awesome hat, by the way, Coach. Dave Egnatuk, Mike Turner, and Melissa Washburn. I would also like to thank those who planned the event, specifically Hannah Matson for her tireless efforts in making sure tonight's event was a success. Hannah, where are you at? Stand up, wave, in the back. This year's induction class includes MIAA individual and team champions, conference MVPs, school and MIAA record holders. With inductees ranging from 1973 to 2010, this class represents more than 4 decades worth of great athletic accomplishments at Albion College. As impressive as these accomplishments are, what continues to impress me even more is how these great student athletes have continued to be equally successful beyond their collegiate careers at Albion. Whether it's as lawyers, businessmen, educators, or coaches, college athletic alumni continue to be champions throughout their lives. The ability to take the life lessons taught in the arena of competition by great coaches and mentors are key reasons for the success of our alums. We are here tonight to honor and celebrate the legacy and tradition of Albion College's great athletic accomplishments. As evident by tonight's induction class, this legacy and tradition has been in place for decades. It is the responsibility of me and our current head coaches and staff to continue this legacy. We are responsible for ensuring that our student athletes continue to achieve great things athletically. Additionally, we are also responsible for ensuring that our student athletes are equally impressive in the classroom and are leaders on campus. These are the virtues that were instilled in previous generations of student athletes, and these are the virtues that continue to make Albion College a special place today. On behalf of our coaches and staff at Albion College, I want to congratulate the 2021 Hall of Fame induction class and thank you for establishing the great tradition of Albion athletics. I'm pleased to introduce Albion College President Dr. Matthew B. Johnson as our next speaker. On July 1st, 2020, Dr. Johnson began his tenure as the 17th president of Albion College. Prior to his arrival at Albion, Dr. Johnson spent 5 years at Brown University as the Associate Dean of the College of Engaged Scholarship, as well as a Senior Fellow and Executive Director of the Howard R. Swear Center for Public Purpose. Over the past 18 months, I've enjoyed working with Dr. Johnson. As a former student athlete at Siena College, he understands the importance of quality athletic experience for our student athletes and that co-curricular learning is an important part to the Albion College experience. I've had the opportunity to work with Dr. Johnson beyond what a normal athletic director would work with their president. In December, while I was enjoying Christmas break with my family, I received a phone call from Dr. J. And it was a phone call in which I think there was only one answer to the question that he was asking me. And that was if I would take on and help coordinate the COVID response on campus. I told them I would think about it when I really knew that I wasn't being really asked. I think I was being told what I was going to be doing. And I said, hey, I'll get back to you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So after I picked myself up off the floor and I looked at my wife and I said, well, this is going to be an interesting situation. I went into work. I talked to Melissa Walton, our Senior Associate Athletic Director, and I said, well, I've got some news. I think I've got a couple new responsibilities coming my way. And I think as we get ready for the spring, in which we're going to play all 25 teams are going to be competing at the same time, so I'm going to need your help in stepping up. And in the fall, our athletic trainers had really stepped up to the plate, done a tremendous job of helping campus navigate COVID. And so at about 4:59, I get a phone call from Dr. J saying, I haven't heard from you yet. And I said, yeah, you haven't. I said, I'm willing to take it on and do it. And I appreciate the fact that Dr. Johnson, in the short time he was on campus, realized the importance that our athletic staff plays on our entire campus, and the role that we play not only with our student athletes, but with all of our students, in helping them learn and achieve all that they're trying to achieve while they're on campus during the 4 years. So I view that as an honor for him to reach out and talk to me and give me that responsibility. I think there are moments when he thinks, Matt, what are you thinking? But he listens to me. And we talk through some of the challenges, the changes that have come at us from nowhere. So through that relationship, he and I or through that work, we have developed a relationship that I appreciate. So with that, Dr. Johnson.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you all for being here today. What a great evening to spend together. While I began my service to this amazing institution over a year ago, this year promises to be a real first year. Tonight is one of the first, in fact, events that I've been able to speak at and to meet alumni at and to celebrate this wonderful institution with. I'm so honored to spend it with all of you. The pandemic prevented gatherings like this. It prevented get-to-know-you meetups, prevented so many human connections for all of us. I want to extend a special thanks to Coach and Peg Turner, who have welcomed us to this community and have been in our home. I want to also recognize Milt, who needs no further introduction, who has become my friend. In these times when it was so hard to connect with others, new connections became very important to us. By us, I want to recognize my partner, Dr. Shannon O'Neill, down here. Beautiful, strong, wickedly intelligent, accomplished partner. I am honored to have her by my side, but you might not know, she actually was also an athlete, a high school basketball star herself, and competed in CrossFit in the Masters level. Of course, Masters starts at 40 in CrossFit. That's actually where we met, in the CrossFit gym. So I'm honored to have her by my side. I'm also honored to have the opportunity to start to get to know some of the coaches in this room. And I had my first extended conversation with Jody May, the basketball coach, just the other night down at the Malleable. Jody, good to see you. Love his purple jacket, by the way. Amazing. And something really interesting happens when you sit at the bar and talk with somebody for over an hour. You start to learn things about each other that you're surprised by. And so I wasn't quite surprised by the fact that Jody has a pretty strict rule with his athletes about their attire. But he was surprised to find out that this earring I have in, which I have in just for you tonight, Jody, was in for 30 years before I took this job. And I took it out, as any respectable professional would, I suppose, to interview for the president's job. And just the other night, serendipitously, my son said to me on the phone, "When are you going to put that back in?" Because he's never known me without one, ever, in his whole life. So Jody inspired me to put it back in, just for you, Jody. It's going to make your job harder with the guys, but, you know, so be it. So be it. Dr. O'Neill and I are so grateful to have the opportunity to be here with you tonight and to celebrate several of Albion's finest leaders. That would not have been possible without the bold leadership of the gentleman who came before me at this podium tonight, Matt Arend. I remember the phone call a bit differently. I remember emphasizing to Matt that this is absolutely optional. I have 2 or 3 other folks I can talk to. I really didn't, but I said that out loud. I didn't because Matt really was the leader that I needed. Calm, cool, collected, and obsessive about safety and compliance. We will never, ever violate an NCAA rule while he is in the driver's seat. I am 100% confident of that. In his new role as Associate Dean for Wellness, he has gone on to lead the beginning of the building of our approach to integrated wellness here at Albion, where we seek to provide wellness services across the full spectrum for students in a way most other colleges don't. We're at the front end of that process, but I'm confident he will build a national model for integrated wellness for all of our students. It's because of him that we are here tonight. On behalf of all of us, thank you, Matt, for your leadership and tenacity as a shining example of the written spirit. I came to Albion College because I found here the same type of community that changed my life. Some of you have read, probably in the Yo, about my fondness for football. It's ironic that a high school football teammate of mine is just up the road as a professor at Western Med, and he was interviewed for the magazine. As a farm kid growing up in upstate New York, yeah, there's an upstate New York, not just New York City. We like saying Michigan is Detroit, big part of New York. I had the size and the strength and the athleticism to be recruited to play D2 football. Most of the size that's here was up here then, but you know. College for me, a kid who grew up with no access to what college meant or was like, held only the promise to continue to play. So I took a dare and I sat for an absentee spot for the SAT. Back in those days you could do that. And I hoped that someone would recruit me, and a college did. Football opened the door to higher education for me. But the faculty, the staff, the trainers and coaches, my friends, and the community members kept me at college. And they kept me staying there throughout my 4 years, and they changed my life forever. My passion for football became the doorway to a lifelong love of ideas that led me to be speaking at this podium to you today. We're here today to celebrate the leadership, community and spirit, and passion of our student athletes. As you all know, they often learn as much on the field as they do in the classroom. They learn to push past what they thought were their limits, and they learn to test discipline, courage, and perseverance. They learn that to be a part of a team, a part of a community, means to give to give as much as you can for the community. In short, they learned what it means to be part of something that was bigger than themselves, to serve a higher purpose. That's why we've come together to recognize the legacy of the Britain student athletes who've boldly broken records, pushed past boundaries, and led themselves and their peers to greatness. We've all needed those strengths over the past year, a year that tested our community over and over. In fact, just a few minutes ago, although I haven't met Coach Egnatuk yet, he was over at my table, and I overheard him in a conversation about having moved to Missouri, and now having lived there for 15 months, have seen very little of Missouri. That's kind of like being a college president in the year of COVID, and only just meeting the basketball coach and having a real sit-down conversation. It's difficult to get through that year. We also reaffirmed during that year our commitment to diversity and belonging, and are navigating a great deal of urgent and necessary change in a dynamically changing higher education marketplace. But we're strong because we're Brits, and the investments we are making in our program, our people, our campus, are safeguarding our financial sustainability and renewing our relevance in the higher education landscape of this country. For the second consecutive year, in 2021, Albion College was named one of the top 50 innovative liberal arts colleges in the country. And in 2021, Forbes and the Wall Street Journal both rated Albion College among the top 100 small liberal arts colleges in the country. Change, though, is challenging and difficult, and it will take every ounce of the Britain courage that we all know sits in this room in order to boldly create the future that we need together. That courage must include the courage to listen to one another, to dialogue with one another in honest, respectful ways, to preserve our communities and the dignity of every person that lives in our communities, to honor the lived experience and the unique backgrounds of every social identity in our communities. I'm deeply grateful for the leadership of our athletic staff for leading our COVID response, and the "and" in my text is all capitalized because it is as important as their leadership through the pandemic, and for leaning into this period of change and demonstrating in and through their leadership of our student athletes what the courage I've been talking about looks like. I'm also deeply grateful for all of you in attendance today as we celebrate the tenacity and achievement of these courageous Brit athletic alumni. I hope, too, that you will join us tomorrow at 10 a.m. to learn about the realization of a new dream that will celebrate all alumni, Alumni Unity Hall. This redevelopment of St. John's Parish, which they just installed some new copper ridging on, it's really quite beautiful. I hope you get a chance to see it tomorrow. Into a hub for student and alumni networking, career services, multicultural events, and performance spaces will fortify relationships between alumni, current students, and the Albion community, and preserve the Catholic Church, a beloved and culturally significant local landmark. I hope to see you all tomorrow for a short presentation about that redevelopment. So in closing, thank you again. And without further ado, it's time tonight for tonight's main event. Congratulations to all of the 2021 Albion College Athletic Hall of Fame inductees.
Thank you, President Johnson. Real quick, before I move on to introducing Coach Turner, our servers tonight are members of our women's lacrosse team. time where I warn everybody not to tip them because that's some kind of NCAA rule violation. However, there are new rules. So, name, image, and likeness, you guys can pass a hat around, I suppose, if you like. It's not a problem. So, thank you very much for helping us out today. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Mike Turner, who's been a part of the Hall of Fame induction program for many years. Mike had an incredible run at Albion College for more than 39 years and is currently the longest-serving coach of any sport at Albion College. In basketball, Mike led the Britons to a record of 527 and 319, ranking him 10th all-time among Division III coaches for wins. He led the Britons to 5 MIAA League championships, a league tournament championship in 1998, and took Albion College to 4 NCAA tournaments, including a Final Four appearance in 1978. Mike was named Division III Great Lakes Region Coach of the Year in 1978, 1998, and 2005. Mike retired from Albion College in 2009. He and his wife, Peg, continue to be advocates for Albion College and Albion College athletics. The past 2 years have been a difficult one for our athletic department as we've navigated the death of a beloved student athlete and then rolled into the pandemic. The Britain community has really stepped up, and it's people like Coach Turner and Coach Egnetuck who have been huge advisors for me as I've learned about Albion over the last 10 years and tried to lead us as best as we could in the athletic department. Mike and Dave and Peg have always been great friends to me, and I appreciate their friendship, and they truly embody what great Brits are. So with that, I'm pleased to introduce Coach Turner.
Thank you, Matt. I think that's the best you've ever read, what I wrote for you. So I've had that out for you many years, but you really did a nice job that time. So thank you. I also would like to. Mark Newman had a really good point. I'm about 30% on this. That's not free throw shooting, but recognizing my wife and Mark, it's kept you together for 25. We're double that plus. I'd like my wife just to wave at me. Now we can begin with the presentation of the Athletic Hall of Fame for the class of 2021. Our first inductee is Denise Heinze from the class of 1978. Stand up. Denise was a key piece to helping advance Albion and expand Albion College softball in the late 1970s. Believe, Denise, I know Matt's bothering you right now, but help me out. I think, weren't you on the first varsity team that we had here that helped organize it? That was a lot of our sports at Albion. A lot of the sports that we have at Albion that got started in a very similar vein. I had a niece that started the lacrosse club sport, do some other activities, and it's great that you were able to do that. We appreciate all of your efforts in that. We've had great success as a softball player while you... I'm sorry. Great success as a softball player, on batting average, all those things. But I think that the fact that you were picked as a co-captain for a couple of years and the team's best defensive player, that's a real achievement. A member of the Alpha Chi Delta sorority, Denise went on to achieve great success following her graduation from Albion. She taught and coached at 2 different Michigan school districts before moving south and earning her master's degree, Master's Arts at North Carolina Central University, and then she got her PhD at Duke University. After a teaching stint at the colleges, she moved to Durham to focus on her writing career. Quite a career. She has gone on to publish several academic publications as well as her first novel. She has spent time as a mentor to 3 different Albion College softball players in the last 2 or 3 years. She has also participated in the United States Tennis Association 7.0, 65 and older. Got a ways to go to catch your brother and I. 65 and over mixed and women's state championships, and is currently giving her great niece. Does that mean she's really good at tennis, or she's your great niece? But your great niece tennis lessons, and I'm sure she is very appreciative of it. Denise enjoys gardening, doing cross-country puzzles, playing tennis, hiking, and reading, and she currently resides still in Durham, North Carolina. I think that's a great achievement, and I've been fooled for a long time. I've known her brother Kirk for way too long, and I used to think your claim to fame was him. Baloney. It's, you got all this by yourself. He wants to take credit for tonight. It's got nothing to do with him. Congratulations. Denise, congratulations. Next is from the class of 1973, Randy Smith. Much like Denise in softball, Randy was a trailblazer for our wrestling team. He is the most decorated wrestler in the history of Albion College. Help me out, Randy. What year did we drop wrestling? 76, and then this year brought it back. And have a full coaching staff. We now have both men's and women's wrestling. And Randy was the first wrestler that we ever had in Albion that competed in the NCAA championships. He had a great record of 51 and 10, and then his senior year in 73, he had a 15 and 0 record or 14 and 0 record. Randy recalls how he drove unannounced to Albion. He wasn't invited to come for a campus visit, but he came on his own, went over to talk to ex-coach Tom Taylor back in the late 90s, or late 60s, I guess. And Tom watched them a little bit, talked to him a little bit, and said, "Man, you come and wrestle for us tomorrow." He had to wait till he graduated. He came to Albion, had a great experience. He's done a lot with our new coach and helping him become a better coach and helping our program. He two-time MIAA champion, our most valuable wrestler for 2 years, and set 5 school records. I have no idea how you do that in wrestling. But congratulations, Randy, that's pretty impressive. After his time at Albion, he has had an incredible year as a coach. He was a 4-time Michigan High School Athletic Association Wrestling Coach of the Year, 5-time Regional Coach of the Year, and a Lansing State Journal All-Area Coach of the Year. He has coached with both the USA Wrestling and USA Junior Olympic Wrestling teams for years. He and his wife Betsy, who is also an alum, now reside in Chesapeake, Virginia. In his free time, he enjoys competing in triathlons, playing golf and poker. Don't do them both at the same time, golf and poker. The things that some of us remember about Randy is a lot of the guys that are in the lower classes, not like Castle and Holden over there, that are in the heavyweights. Randy was in the lighter weight classes. Those guys are real fidgety. And I think you kind of had the nickname fidgety or something. They all wanted you to just slow down and relax a little bit. And guess what? That fidgetiness really paid off for you. Congratulations to Randy. Next is Ty Latimer from the class of 2010. Ty was a very, very accomplished diver. He was an All-American while he was at Albion as a diver. Made his presence felt both at the college level and the national level. He was a four-time letterman and a captain for 2 seasons of our diving and swimming team. He was the MIAA Diver of the Year for 2 years, 2008 and 2009. He was an honorable mention All-American diver in 2010. Since he has left Albion, he is still very active. He lives in Breckenridge, Colorado, where he is a professional ski instructor. He resides there with his wife, Rebecca. Both Ty and his wife, Rebecca, are not able to visit tonight, but accepting on his behalf is his coach, who is here, Keith Havens. Keith reminded me that not only was Ty very coordinated. If you're going to be a diver, you better be pretty coordinated. If you're going to be a gymnast, you better be coordinated. If you're going to be a diver, but he was also very courageous, and I think that's another real attribute for a diver, that the water isn't going to move. I mean, so he was very, very courageous, very coordinated, and Keith Havens is accepting for Ty. Next, from the class of 2003, Chris Stefans. Chris was one of our all-time best javelin throwers, and we've had some real good javelin throwers and national champions here. As a senior, he qualified for the NCAA National Championships, while also setting the conference record that still stands today. That was in 2003, and you still have the MIAA record. And as I've been told by numerous people, that was at Elma. Supposed to have it on a flat. They had it up on a hill, and anywhere from 1.5 to 3 feet longer if it would have been flat, and it is still a league record. Congratulations on that. Chris and his wife Kim currently reside in Manhattan Beach, California. He serves as president of GIS Benefits. In his free time, he enjoys traveling, hiking with his wife and son, Tommy, skiing, golfing, cooking, live music, and relaxing at the beach. Got a good spot. Congratulations. Yes. Another track member is Jerry Krueger from the class of 2006. Jerry is an incredibly decorated career as a trackman for the Britons. Still to this day, Jerry holds the record for the 400-meter dash, the Albion College record. He has also been an All-MIAA selection all 4 of his years. He won the MIAA title in the 400-meter dash in 2005 and 2006. He qualified for the Nationals in the year. He was also a part of the 4x100 relay. Qualified and was a qualifier. Had great success as a trackman when he was here. As a 400-meter runner, he also was a star in the 4x400 relay team that was NCAA qualified. Currently resides in Traverse City with his wife Chelsea. Jerry works as director of the supply chain at Class & Con Group. So he's golfing, boating, and snowboarding. On a good spot for that too, in his free time. Lance takes a lot of credit for your success, but you and I know better, right? I mean, let's be honest. Both Lance and Dave have talked about what a great, quiet, effective leader you were. Congratulations. Class of 2004, Dominic Reid. Come on, D. D. Reid is another stellar performer from our track program. He is one of the best sprinters in the history of the college. He came from Albion High School. He came to Albion College. I think Hazel's in the back. You're all right. So, attaboy, Hazel. He, as I say, came to Albion College. He had great success in the 100, in the 200 meters. He won, I think it was told, 5 different league championships. 3 in the 100 and 2 in the relays. And if I am correct, 5 second place finishes. It doesn't matter. That's pretty close. That's really good. And you had a great career. You've done your town very well. You've done your college very well, and we're really proud of you and really happy for you. He's been a head coach at De La Salle High School since 2014. He's led his team to 4 regional championships. He and his wife Brittany live in St. Clair Shores, and our parents are Mariah, Mason, and Jace. D. Reid, or Dominic as his people who don't know him call him, has been involved in Brotherhood Oath mentoring services, My Brother's Keeper, and the Detroit Youth Development Corporation. Help me out, Dee, if this is true. Some of your coaches, of which you had 2 in high school and 2 in college, all 4 are here. I don't know how many of the recipients have both of their high school coaches and both of their college coaches here, but Dominic does. They have told me that when you were a freshman, you earned the nickname Ghost. And the reason for the nickname Ghost is, damn, you just kept disappearing all the time. When it was time to do an extra 100 or an extra 200, sorry, Coach, I got to go to the bathroom. And so, by the time he was a junior and a senior, he didn't have to go as often. So he did all of the trials, all of the drills, and congratulations to David. Congratulations. Our next inductee is from the class of 1992, Dave Markowski. Dave is, as I say, graduated in 92. He's still in the top 10 in our all-time scoring list in basketball. He's 5th in rebounding. And he looks exactly the same, except he's at least 2 inches taller now than when he played. Played center. And back then, Calvin and Hope had some really big guys. And that's who he guarded. And they wished he hadn't guarded him because he was Dave was, as a sophomore, he was 2nd team All-League. As a junior, he was 1st team All-League. And then as a senior, early in the season, we're at Spring Arbor, he had an ankle injury that really severely hampered him the rest of the year. He didn't quit. He kept playing that game. Oh, I'm all right, Coach, don't worry. And afterwards, I think we took him to the hospital. But he was courageous his whole year. It hampered his performance, but it certainly hampered our team's performance this senior year because of that injury. To show, I had a parent of a neighborhood guy tell me about his grandson today, how disappointed he was that as an 8th grader, he's on the B team for his 8th grade basketball team. And is he just done? And the neighbor kept asking me, is he all done playing basketball, or is he ever going to be able to play again? Dave's son, you shouldn't listen to this, but Dave, as an 8th grader in Birmingham, was on the C team of the 8th grade. And developed and became a great player. When he was in high school, he is the 2nd player from his high school that we recruited that year at the same time. The other player was more highly acclaimed. He's also in our Hall of Fame. took the other player to the middle of the sophomore year to become a starter. It took Dave to the third game, freshman year, to be a starter on her team. And everybody said, why are you going after that guy? He's kind of a tag-along. Really happy you're getting the first guy, but that guy's a tag-along. That guy is no tag-along. He's really good. And Dave currently lives in Lubbock, Texas with his wife Laura and their 3 sons, Ben, Sam, and Will. Ben and Will are here tonight. Sam is a 15-year-old who's playing high-level football in Texas, Lubbock, so wife Laura stayed home. They have a game that started 24 minutes ago, and Dave wants to get back so he can look at it on video in his seat. But Ben and Will are here. Dave is a partner at Madeira Residential, Quest, Select Title, and Viva Bank. He is also chairman of the Lubbock, Texas Chamber of Commerce. Really good friend and a great player, Dave Marcinkowski. Next, from the class of 2003, very excellent soccer player, Theresa Kolly McArleton. The Albion College women's soccer team had great success in the early 2000s, and that's one of the main reasons right there, Teresa. She was a phenomenal player. She was first team all-league for 3 years. She was yeah, take that off. That won't look good. She was a star for her entire career, but was not the scoring star. She was the leader of the team. She was the glue of the team, and she had great success and helped our team have great success. She was a 4-year Lena winner. As I say, she was first team 3 times in her career, and her team won the league 3 times or 4 times? 3 times. Congratulations on that. Off the field, Teresa excelled in the classroom, receiving MIAA Academic Honor Roll honors for 3 consecutive years. She is now a proud soccer mom of the boys out there. And Teresa resides in Livonia with her husband and Albion alum, Jordan Mccarlton. She is the Director of Parks and Recreation for the City of Berkeley. Jordan has been our golf coach for, that's what I said, I meant to do, 11 years. Whatever I put up, I don't know what it is anyway. So 11 years, and is now working with the Novi program for golf instruction. And again, had somebody in that family who's had good success. Jordan played golf for me, and he's not getting in the Hall of Fame, but you did, Teresa. Congratulations. You can let him touch it. Teresa, you can let Jordan touch it, but don't let him carry it. Next, from the class of 2005, Jason Ryan. Jason has his name on the All-MIAA list for 4 years of his tennis career at Albion. He is a 4-time letter winner for the Britons and was second team All-Conference for 3 years, and then was first team All-Conference as a senior. He also, in 2005, his senior year, was the recipient of the very prestigious Dr. Alan B. Stowe Sportsmanship Award. Dr. Stowe was a longtime Kalamazoo College tennis coach, and tennis coaches put a sportsmanship trophy in his name, and Jason was clearly the top person to get that. Not only was he a good sport, really good player. Kalamazoo College, in case some don't know, is pretty good in tennis. Our number one player, a lot of years, doesn't play on their top team. Our number one player, his senior year, would have been number 2 at Kalamazoo. He only got beat twice the whole year his senior year, and both times it was by the guy at Kalamazoo. You can forget his name. I already have. Don't worry about him anymore. After Jason graduated from college, he went on to earn his medical degree from the Ross University School of Medicine. He's currently a general vascular surgeon at Ascension Borges Hospital in Kalamazoo. He resides with his wife Emily in Richland. His father is also a surgeon who is here tonight, Ed, and they share a wing in the surgery unit, and they have the same day when they do surgery, so that's pretty neat. Congratulations. Also, one other thing, I think Jason, I'm upset about this, but I think Jason is, and only talks about his tennis achievements in this program or whatever. He was an outstanding golfer. Much better now than he was then. You'd have been number 1 golfer right now, but he plays a lot of golf and is doing a great job. Congratulations. Next, from the class of 1986, Dwayne Bunky Johnson. Dwayne is 6th in the all-time scoring list at Albion College basketball. He's 9th as a rebounder. And like Cow, or Dave Marcinkowski, very undersized, but they had some bulk to him. They got a little bit of action done, and nobody on the other teams liked either of them guarding him, and Dwayne certainly was that way. He was a 4-time All-MIAA selection during his career at Albion. Says that Albion was the catalyst that helped propel him to become who he is today, servant. And he is an unbelievable servant. He's a very, very good person. 4-time letter winner, as I mentioned. He was also the team's most valuable player his senior year. That year he was chosen as team captain and first team All-MIAA pick. First 3 years he was here, he was second team All-MIAA. Graduating from Albion, Bunky went on to coach high school basketball, where he saw his teams achieve great success. He coached Maryland Christian Schools boys basketball team to 3 state championships and the girls team to 2 state championships. Now the director, ask him what that meant today. Like headmaster, kind of like principal, but it's director. So he is the director of the Grace Christian Academy of Waldorf, Maryland. He and his wife Teresa, who is with him tonight, have 4 children: Deshaun, Dominic, Marcus, and Christian, and he and Teresa live in Waldorf, Maryland. He is the 3rd basketball player. Played at Saginaw High School, came to Albion, and then became in our Hall of Fame. Played basketball and is in our Hall of Fame. One of them is sitting here next to Peg, Milton Barnes. Michael Thomas is the other one, and Bunky is the 3rd one, and these are graduating. Next, we have members of the track team of 2004. I know most of you didn't know they were here tonight, but they just showed up. We're happy to have them all here, and with 2 of their coaches. We have a number of the members of the team that are joining us tonight. When your name is called, if you'll come over and get in the front, Matt will hand you your plaque, and then line up across the front. And I did a really poor job of saying have your name tag off when you come, because it's not good for the picture. But So if you'll come when your name is introduced. On that team, we have Brian Elliott. Todd Falker. This pains me a touch. Marcus Gill. Scott Cortland. Gary Krueger. Charles Chuck Lott. If you have some time afterwards, you can meet with Chuck and he can tell you about all he's done since he's graduated from Albion from the athletic world. Matt Lozen. Nick Mockridge. From Flint, Nicholas Morgan. Nick Moroz. Nick Morgan was a national champion, hurdles. Dee Reed from the class of 2003. Zachary Silas, Zach Silas. From Albion High School, J.B. Starkey. And J.B. was sitting by a very athletic wife next to him also. But Lucas Tyler. Ryan Williams. Ryan was a little older when he started. No, that's Ryan's dad. Dr. D, Darrell Williams, is accepting for his son Ryan. And Tori Wilson. Go ahead, Marcus. Tori was a very mild, meek-mannered guy when he here, and nobody really. I'm not done. Man, I told you it pained me to have you come up here. And a late ad, Clint Hooper. It's my fault, Clint. And we have two coaches from that team. One wears a hat, and one got his hair cut like I did today. Lance Sugar Coleman was the assistant coach, who is now the head coach of director of track, field, cross country, and whatever. And your son did a nice job with a bow tie. And the head coach of that team, and I think this is the 32nd year of the Hall of Fame at Albion, and I think this is Dave's 32nd induction in the Hall of Fame. Dave Ignatow. Let me know when you're done, Dave. The team members are asked to report to the foyer at the conclusion of tonight's event so that they can have a picture with their framed events or their framed certificates and to stand for a team photo, which will be the 17th one of tonight. That group has had lots of pictures. Now, before you go to the back, please go find your seats. Now I would like to bring back to the podium Denise Heinze, who will come to accept on behalf of all of our inductees tonight, and we'll talk about her experiences at Albion. Denise Heinze.
Coach Turner and the track team, tough act to follow. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who loved baseball more than dolls and dresses. She dreamed one day of playing for the Detroit Tigers, following in the steps of her prince, Norm Cash. Any Norm Cash fans in the crowd here tonight? She hit the sandlot for pickup games every chance she got, collected baseball cards, most of which she still owns, and tuned into the crooning Ernie Harwell and George Kell. As she got older, the dream faded, as did her ardor for a game that had left her behind. She turned to another great love, learning, especially all things literary. She landed a scholarship to a beautiful bucolic campus filled with like-minded and studious co-eds. The young woman's story might end there, were it not for a wonderful twist of fate. In her sophomore year, the college deemed it prudent and right to field an exhibition softball team. The young woman was struck, not unlike Paul on the road to Damascus. She needed a mitt and cleats. She needed the guts to try out. She scrounged up one of her brother's old right-hander gloves, though she was a lefty, and she wore Keds. She made the team, or rather, it made her. The next year, the team became official. She had to take herself seriously and get a decent glove. There was a major complication. The young woman had been invited to a fabulous fraternity ball. She now needed both a dress and a mitt. She could not afford both. Her coaches gave her an ultimatum. There was no need. She bought the mitt. The young woman enjoyed 2 magical years of play, followed after graduation by a stint at high school coaching and decades of recreational softball well into her 50s. Later, her body more inclined to repose than play, she arrived at perhaps the best chapter in her life. She took to writing about the sport she loved. She eventually got those cleats, too, the first pair of which fit like glass slippers. In other words, the woman lived fully and happily ever after. My story is not unlike those of my fellow inductees. In the course of preparing these remarks, I reached out to this year's Hall of Famers for thoughts about their experiences at Albion as student athletes and how that impacted them once they graduated. Without exception, the inductees never cast themselves as the heroes of their own fairy tales. Quite the contrary. They were invariably humble and earnest, which of course are exactly some of the very qualities that make a hero. A prevailing sentiment among the Hall of Fame class of 2021 is gratitude for coaches, teammates, a college, and opportunity. Dave Marcinkowski praises his coach for giving him confidence and the ability to lead. He remembers it was always okay to make mistakes or say, "I don't know," to Coach Turner. Theresa Kolly McArleton speaks to what she calls the sisterhood of my teammates, who have remained instrumental in her life through the years. That bond, all of our bonds, she says, were forged on the field and the million moments off it at Albion. Chris Stefanes' team didn't play sports for the notoriety. We did it, he says, because we committed to the team and committed to challenging ourselves. He cherished the camaraderie. We were complete strangers when we arrived at Albion, but we left bonded closer than we could have imagined. Dominic Reid plays homage to his alma mater. Athletics at Albion gave me the opportunity to compete against runners from all over the country. He adds, I loved every moment of it. Chris provides the big picture. I think about the personal and collective wins and losses, literally and figuratively, that made it all worth it. We now know, even in loss, the lessons were worth it. Along with these expressions of gratitude, there was also a willingness to pay it forward from campus athletics to future careers. Randy Smith became a 35-year veteran of teaching and coaching. He says, thanks to Albion College and my coach's encouragement, I continue to live the dream of a lifetime. Dominic is a head track coach and a counselor. It was at Albion where he developed his dual love of coaching and helping young people. He writes, I hope I can continue to use everything they taught me to impact the lives of others on a daily basis. Dave credits his leadership skills to his coaches and teammates, who taught him how to be a leader at a time when I didn't even understand what that meant. Teresa became a coach of sorts to her own children, teaching them good sportsmanship. My kids play sports now, and what I stress to them, and more rabid parents, that no one is going pro, okay, maybe 1 out of a million. What should be most important to her children in sports are relationships with their teammates that can be some of the best of their lives. Last but not least, one inductee's experience at Albion included a wondrous moment of serendipity. While training for a wrestling match on the stairs of Krueger Gym, Randy met his wife of 48 years. As I read my fellow inductees' reminiscences, I recalled my own. It's what we share. That sounds simple enough, nothing like the mystical, ethereal workings of a fairy tale. And yet, it is our collective experience nonetheless, a moment in time and place that meant something, that continues to mean something. It is the moral to which all great stories aspire. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. A couple final announcements. All of tonight's award winners, individual and team, are encouraged to be recognized prior to the football game tomorrow. That recognition will happen at 12:30. Please arrive at the northeast corner of the track by 12:15. Look for myself. All award winners are also invited to watch the game tomorrow from the President's Box. Tickets and concession vouchers are available in the lobby on your way out. Again, team members being inducted tonight, please proceed immediately to the foyer for a team picture after the event. We welcome all of you to mingle with families, coaches, and friends and have photos taken anywhere you want in the room, as you've already done that. This concludes our official induction ceremony. I would like to congratulate all the athletes inducted into the Hall of Fame, their families, and their friends who give them support as they succeeded on and off the field. Thank you. Good night. Go Brits.